welcome to Podcast Fandom, the official podcast for ProjectFandom.com. I'm your host, Nina.
I'm Kaylee.
And I'm John.
Jesus Christ.
It's been a while, okay? I used to Daddy going first. I'm used to going last.
I'm leaving it. I'm not editing that.
It's real.
My brain is still processing what we were just debating for like the past 10 minutes. Anyway, we are back to discuss Ranking of Kings. We're going to be talking about season 1, episodes 16 through 18. On the schedule, it had said, and I say had said because by the time you hear this today, I'm going to change it through episode 19. But we had a bit of a day, and I was like, there's no way, we were running out of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think we'd be able to watch all 4 episodes before we were due to record. So we decided to stop at 3. And holy shit, what a place to stop.
Yeah. So earlier you had messaged me and said, we got to watch 4. And I thought you were changing, like we were going to watch 3. And I thought you were saying, no, we got to watch 4, as if y'all had watched these 3. And then y'all were like, no, we got to watch a 4th one. So then when I got through the 3rd one, I was like, oh, I see why we have to watch 4. And then when you were like, let's just do 3. And then I was like, okay.
Yeah, no. Joshua made this list for us, and he put, that order. We're supposed to watch the one that comes next. And I'm so like, what the hell could happen? Like, how is that going to end?
I'm like, I don't know.
This show is so good.
It is really good. We were doing the anime award voting earlier.
Yeah.
And the show was like listed a lot there. And I remember being surprised because I didn't know it was this like widely known.
Really?
Like, yeah. I mean, I knew it was good. I just didn't know if it was like a lot of people knew about it. I thought it was pretty niche. So I was surprised to see it with like
in the category, yeah.
Like Attack on Titan.
It's like best anime, yeah.
So I was like, oh, I mean, it deserves it. It's good.
So when this podcast comes out, it will be Friday, January 20th, and that'll be the second day of voting. It's the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. I guess if you go to Crunchyroll's website, and you can vote once a day, every day for like the next 6 days, I think. Or I think it might be like 8 days of voting total. And then they'll announce how you can view the actual ceremony. So it's like all these categories. And I voted earlier, like right before we started watching the episodes. Yeah, I voted. And then, I felt like some of the categories, there's one category, John. Yes, I did. Got a sticker and everything. One of the categories is character to protect at all costs. And of course, Boji is one, but so is Kage.
Mm-hmm. I was like, really?
And then there was, in the same category, Anya, who we love from Spy Family, another show we're podcasting, and Kotaro from a show on Netflix called Kotaro Lives Alone, which we started watching. We watched maybe 4 episodes.
4 or 5.
And stopped because
we could tell
it's heavy. Sad. And it is about what it sounds like, a little boy who lives alone. And oh my God, he is so precious.
We just decided to never watch it again.
Yes.
We knew it was going to get real sad.
And he's who I voted for, by the way. Yeah. Because I was like, Boji can take care of himself. Kage can take care of himself. Oh boy, can Kage take care of himself.
Yeah, especially after this episode.
And so can Anya. So I voted for. But by the time we finished these episodes, John, I looked at Kaylee and I was like, and that's the only vote I think the show got from me.
Yeah,
Ranking of Kings was that's it. Where no,
Best Fantasy, I think.
Best Fantasy, that's right. I voted for Ranking of Kings, but like best anime, all this stuff, I voted for other shows. Attack on Titan mostly. But by the time we were done watching these episodes, I looked at Kaylee and I said, I might vote differently tomorrow. I might split some votes.
Yeah, and it's not only is it really good, but it's also really fucked up.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Like this episode, like the first episode, episode 16. You're like, oh yeah, there's Boji's mom getting murdered. And he's under her.
Oh God, I'd forgotten about that, so you just said that.
I forgot how dark this show gets.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've seen it, but yeah, I was reminded, like, oh yeah, they're not scared to show people getting injured and
we're also covering Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and like again, a listener, Kadeem, he gave us the episode order to watch, and the past two chunks of podcasts that we've done, the past two chunks of episodes that we've watched, John, have been so depressing. And then we watched this and it begins with this, and I looked at Kaylee and I was like, Jesus Christ, like, why is all the anime trying to break my heart lately? This is heavy.
Maybe if you watch some stuff I recommend, some anime just in our free time.
No, I don't have any free time. That's the whole point. Like, whenever you want to do something, I could be or should be watching something for the podcast. Like, there's always something to watch for the podcast. Okay, so let's give I know we just finished singing its praises. Let's give our quick overall thoughts before we dive into the details, because I got a lot to say, because a lot happened.
Okay.
John, I'm going to start with you, because you've been quietest.
Yeah, I really like it. Like, I think these episodes, especially, like, I haven't watched the show since the last time we recorded, and it's been, I don't even remember, like a month? I don't even remember, honestly. But it's been a while, and so I didn't remember it being as good as this. Mm-hmm. But we get into this, and I'm like, oh yeah, like there's a lot of stuff going on, and we learned some stuff here, and I'm like, oh, did we know that was that number one?
No.
Right? But like, and it's so
we did not know.
Not only did we
not know was their fucking brother.
But like that third guy, like in the memory, when like with the flashback or whatever, memory, whatever, and when you see that third guy in that gold armor, I didn't even realize that was supposed to be their brother until like he was like brother to Desha or whatever, and I was like, oh, they're brothers now. They have a third brother, and then they started calling him Oaken, and I was like, wait, what?
Well, with us, when that scene, he was like you said, he says brother, and it's like this guy with the black mustache. So there was like a moment where.
Mustache back then.
Were you sure? Because I thought it was Bibbin. Remember?
No, he didn't have a mustache back then. I remember.
Are you sure? Because I distinctly
saw him with a mustache. I was like, oh, he suddenly has a mustache. And it was after that scene. But he did not have a mustache.
Okay, let me tell you what happened, John, because now she's playing in my face. So the scene
by
happened,
the campfire,
right? Or the scene is going on. And he's talking, and I was... Yes. Well, whatever scene where he first calls him brother, right? And it's like a flashback, right? And he says that, and I stopped it because I thought it was Bebin. And I unpaused it because I was like, wait a minute, did he just call him brother? But right where we paused it, we had the closed caption on. The next thing he said, it put his name on the screen, Oaken. So it was like a double brain fuck. We were both like, wait, is that his brother? Wait a minute. Did that say Oaken? We were like, their brother is Oaken? And then we were like, did we know that? But the only reason I paused it was because I thought it was him. So I thought he had a mustache. But because I thought it was Bibbin. Is that his name? The guy with the snakes. The guy who's talking to King Boss in the dungeons.
I don't remember how to say his name.
Okay. But anyway, Yes, we, like you, did not know that. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that was a revelation. I feel like that was because even when he
didn't pick that up at all.
They weren't saying it in those flashbacks until that moment when right after, like, which one is it that has the weird mouth? Dessa or Despa?
We had some technical difficulties. We had to move to a different recording setup. What we were talking about, I think John was asking which one was Despa and which one was Dessa, but I don't know why you were asking that because you didn't get to finish.
Yeah, I was in the middle of talking about the scene around the campfire, right? And that was the scene. So I was saying that the way that scene was written and played, it seemed to me that we weren't supposed to know that was their third brother, or that Oaken was that guy,
right?
And then the next episode, I think it was the next episode, they do the whole, and here are Saturne's 3 sons, and they talk about the 3 sons, and like, so it felt like they were really, like, that was the first time we were getting that information.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't supposed to know anything about that guy until, so it was supposed to be a revelation.
It was so. Like, I'm just thinking about everything that happened. I'm sorry. Okay. Where are you done? I'm sorry with your overall thoughts.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was really good. I mean, obviously, Boji's great. I really enjoy the relationships, and I think this show is doing a great job of making everyone, except for Boji, because Boji seems like he's completely pure, right? But everyone else is like, they do good things, they do bad things.
Yeah,
you like them, you don't like them. Like they're doing a really good job of making you, like, you know,
they're balancing every. Yeah.
And then, like, the scene where the fight. I'm not to get too ahead of it, but the fight between Boji and Oaken was really intense. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Oh my god, it was so good. It was so
I was
good.
like, is Boji about to die? And then, like, we're going to learn something? Because I don't know, like, what the limits are of the show. Where, like, could he die and then come back?
Right,
or could he die and then we find out, no, he's actually immortal? Like, I don't know. So, like, the stakes of that fight were really, like, on the line. I didn't know what was going to happen.
It was really well done, too. What about you, Kaylee?
I love this show, and I still love Miranjo.
I mean, well, yeah, like...
Listen, I'm coming around on her, but I think it's because the show wants you to.
Yeah. I mean, they made her, just as sympathetic as they could, considering everything that she did. But, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, that's it, really. I'm enjoying it.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. This was so good. I can't, like, I know that Joshua, again, he picked where we stop, and, I feel like he's done a pretty good job of parsing out the story in a way that makes, the episodes in a way that makes sense. I'm so curious now to see how the next episode ends. Because
I don't know how the next episode begins.
Well, yeah. Obviously. But I mean, like, I can't, like, where do we go from this? And I mean, they foreshadowed that too, right? Like they already established, like, his people were feared. And, like, assassins, and obviously because of, like, what they can do or how they are. But, like...
And the flag that they burned...
Yeah, I was just going to say...
Wasn't that, like, it looked like...
Yeah,
in this episode.
Exactly. So it was kind of like... But for it to happen so fast, and for it to happen that way, and to be so huge... Yeah.
Where someone was like, Boji doesn't have his full potential unlocked because of, like, a curse or something.
Yeah, they said
I feel like they said something similar about Kage.
They said that one, they're both cursed. One is cursed, like, to be, and then the other one is, not his true form.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
And we thought he would, like, have a human form. Do you remember we talked about that?
Did we? I don't remember that. Nah, y'all making shit up. I don't remember that. Did we?
Yeah.
I mean, we considered it. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Give me a second, guys. I'm sorry.
She's ordering food.
I have to get...
And...
Go ahead.
Well, just while you're doing that...
Okay, good.
There are only... well, now there... Because we didn't watch 4 this time. There are 5 episodes left, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so, like, I do wonder what that... I get what you're saying. Is like, I wonder what those last 4 episodes could possibly do after this wraps up. After, whatever this fight is right here.
Especially because of, like, what you mentioned. How it's like they are setting everybody up. There's some sympathetic characters now that previously you thought were just, like, pure villains. And... considering what AP said, which is something I really can't wait to talk about saving her, Miranjo. So, but we'll get there. Okay, so let's talk about it. Order, please. All right, so episode 16, Royal Majesty. Let me take these glasses off.
That's always a good thing to do right when you start reading.
Okay, so to be fair, she told me I could, remember? Like, I just kind of look down. I do, but it's just so much more comfortable to, like, not have them on when I read.
I get you. I take them off when I look at electronics.
So, they're talking about, when the episode 16 begins, they're talking about how Miranjo is behind everything, right? Mm-hmm. And Boji... no, I'm sorry. Despa. Is that his name?
Desha.
Yeah. No.
Which one are you talking about?
Wait, Desha.
Yeah, Desha's the mouth one.
The king.
What's the mouth mean?
He's got that weird looking mouth.
He's the only one who looks like his father.
You know how he kind of looks like... He looks like the villain in, like... What was that?
Rocky and Bullwinkle. He looks like... Oh, yeah, he does look like that guy.
Yeah, right?
I was thinking of, like, the guy in Rocky and Bullwinkle, but yeah. He does... He does look like... How was that guy's name? Sporticus, I think.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Sporticus was the...
No.
Was the good guy.
Oh.
I can't remember the name of the villain. I was so...
Oh, yeah.
He died, didn't he?
Yeah.
The actor.
Cancer, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, way to bring it down. I know. Sorry. Okay.
Anyway, so Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah, Rocky and Bullwinkle. So Despa. Which one is the king? Desha. Okay. Desha he had just revealed what he wants is Miranjo, right? To kill her or whatever. And when Boji hears her name, he remembers how his mother died, and it was fucking terrible.
And I like how he can, because, he can't hear, so he just remembers the mouth movement.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Because she said her name.
Yes.
Right before she died.
And, like, it wasn't bad enough that they were like, oh yeah, let's have all these arrows go into the mother while she's covering her son. But then, like, have her blood rain down over him.
Like a pool of blood.
And because she's a giant, like, it wouldn't be like trickles. It was like
waterfalls.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then she just dies with all these arrows in her. Miranjo was like Daenerys. She just came in on a dragon, threw up a flag, and was like...
And then she got hit with an arrow herself.
And that was on purpose, though, right?
I think so. I'm sure.
Because the guy kind of smirked after he did it, right?
Yeah,
like an oopsie.
Yeah, because like she was like good riddance, like looking over her shoulder, and then like she got betrayed by whoever that guy was.
I'm wondering, is that the people? I forget. We'll get there, but because that's all they know is to betray people. Remember?
Oh, the Yakuza?
Yeah, the Yakuza. Like, I legit remember when they first said the name.
It's literally just Yakuza with a G in front of it. Yakuza.
I was like, I thought they said Yakuza. Like, I was like, my head whipped up so fast. Yeah, I wonder. Because, like, he definitely smirked.
It sounded like those people. I think those are the people. The brother, remember? He's in his subconscious thing. and Daida, and he met Miranjo as like a little girl, like her memories, and
there's like all those people who were.
I think it's those people. I think she did something to those people.
Gotcha.
After they killed her mother.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm assuming they're all dead.
So then we get, what's his name? Geigens? The big guy, the ogre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we get his backstory. He was a mercenary who turned against Dessa because in order to win the war to overthrow his father, Dessa, the father had used those people. What are they? They were like gigantes. It's like giants, basically, like ogre giants. Yeah. Yeah. He had enlisted like an army of them, right? But like I think didn't he use magic to make them fight for him? But then Dessa they were torturing this kid, right? Like a child. Yeah.
They were like whipping a baby. They go directly from killing Boji's mom and washing him in her blood to these guys whipping a baby. And I'm like, what am I watching?
I know! I was like, this is terrible. Can we please watch a happy anime?
We could.
Shut up. So he turns against them, right? Geigen, right? Because of this. And they end up, I can't remember if this is later. So I'll just say it now. But he ends up, they end up killing the kid anyway. Like slitting the kid's throat.
Yeah, not just they, like, wasn't it?
It was
Dessa did it, right?
Yeah.
God, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Is he so far he's the only one that they haven't made sympathetic. Now that I think about it, right? Yeah.
Well,
right?
They showed him not liking doing it. Like he didn't want to do it, but he felt it was a necessity to win the war.
I don't know. That's not really sympathetic.
I know, but
a lot of villains think they're doing
heartless, evil man.
I get it. He wasn't twirling.
He wasn't happy to do it.
I think though, like, wasn't in previous episodes, didn't they kind of talk about how their father was cruel or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, he was, pretty terrible. Like, that was,
so, like,
his rule was pretty terrible, too.
Yeah, like, not just, like he was cruel to, like, the people of the kingdom or whatever, but he was also, like, cruel to his sons.
Yeah. So Boji steps in and protects Geigen because that's how it's like, he has to come back with us. He has to.
Do you remember in like a previous podcast we talked about what if Geigen's like a terrible person, like he's a criminal, like we don't know what he's in jail for, but they're like, you know what, you're our friend now. Like,
that's right,
he could be a murderer.
And it turns out he is.
There's this right because Dessa says, you know he's a criminal, and they're like, what? Like, wait a minute. They turncoat very quickly.
So when he steps in between them, Dessa whispers to his brother, Despa, and Despa's like, you don't want the smoke with Boji.
Despa's like, you do all this shit?
He's like, you do not want the smoke.
He's like, wait a minute, this weakling knows you? What? They keep calling me, even after that, Dessa was like, weakling.
Yes.
Like, huh?
Okay. So the two brothers, Dessa and Despa, they propose that they get Boji to fight King Boss, his own dad, and then they'll kill Miranjo. Mm-hmm. Right. This is their plan. And in the end, it's decided that Geigen will go with Dessa, right? And then that's when we get to the flashback, and it shows Despa disapproving of his brother's methods. And then that's when we learn that Oken is their brother, because that's And I just have like question marks. Oken is their brother? Question mark, exclamation point.
I mean, at that time, like, I didn't realize it, because I don't think they had said his name was Oken.
Right.
Except for in the subtitles, which I didn't have on. And so I was just like, this other guy in gold armor is their brother. I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but he's their brother.
Yeah, that's right. Because at this point, Oaken is tied up with Despa, right?
Yeah, and he couldn't be any further from looking like this guy because he's silver and he's got that weird mask.
Yeah, he's terrifying. So Gaigen's gonna go with him, and it's weird because he like apologizes, but not really. He was like, your forgiveness is something I don't deserve, nor will I seek it, or something. And I was like, what is that? Like, what does that mean? And they're going to leave when those demon dog dragon things attack. Mm-hmm. And they bite his arm. He's like, let go.
And you're like, that's Nico.
Yes. And when he first said it, he just like one let go, right? And the other one was just kind of, and the blood is just like dripping. It's like, what the hell? So they all go back to the underworld, right? He calls his guards and says, we're all going back.
He takes the dogs with him.
Yeah, he takes the dogs and Gaigen. Domas and Hokuro apologize to Boji.
Profusely.
Yes. And at first, this kind of got to me because, like, Boji, like, couldn't hold back his tears. He, like, turned his back on them, right? Because we talked about this. Like, he doesn't know Hokuro wasn't in on it, you know? So he turns his back on him. And then Kage is like, you seem really sorry. And, like, maybe, you know, I think he should forgive you or something he said. And I was like, that's not for you to say. But then when Boji, like, breaks down and he runs off, he's like, how dare you? Of course he should.
You think a sorry's gonna cut in?
Yeah, I was like, you were saying the exact opposite like 5 seconds ago.
It's funny because, like, he is, like, the voice of Boji, but, like, I enjoy the, I don't know how to say it, like, the way that the show takes liberties in the moments when Kage knows exactly what Boji is saying.
Yeah.
And then the moments when, like this, where you can tell Kage doesn't really know, but he's just kind of going by what he thinks Boji wants. And so, like, when Boji runs off, he's like, wait a minute, I guess Boji's mad.
And Boji parkours up the fucking...
Yeah. And I love that. I really like that a lot because Kage, like, I mean, and obviously, like, the show gets into, like, very heavy-handed with it, but they're like, yeah, like, Kage has that ability with Boji to make him not be, like, overcome with anger and hate.
Yes.
And so, like, in that moment, he's able to go up and say, hey, let's have fun and race up to the top. And then that turns Boji from being really mad to having fun. And, like, so it like, keeps Boji from, like, going to the dark side.
Yes.
Or whatever.
And he says that as he's, like, running after him, right? Like, I can't let... Like, I understand that he's not ready to forgive and all that, but I can't let him give in to that.
So they've really intertwined the two characters really well to where, like their destinies and all, like, they fit. And then when you get to the moment at the end of the third episode we're going to talk about, like, you're like, oh yeah, it made sense.
Oaken then wakes up. They had him tied up and he starts screaming and, like, wakes up, and that was terrifying. That's how the episode ends, and I was like,
oh yeah,
what the fuck?
Because we didn't know. Yeah, I didn't show Miranjo calling for him.
Right.
Until the next episode.
Exactly.
He was like, let me just pop these shoulders out.
He broke his own bones.
That's right. So then episode 17, The Curse of Immortality. We knew we were going to get more Oaken backstory here. So their father, Saturn, was a god. He was the king of the underworld. And he was obsessed with immortality and became convinced that you achieve it through your children.
They said he got with a human woman.
So he, right.
And did you see it showed, like, her? It was like I didn't realize that's who it was at first, because we watched the scene, and then at one point we rewound it. Mm-hmm. Because I think Nico was, like, barking or something.
Yeah, and I was trying to get the names right.
And we rewound it, and we watched it again, and I'm like, oh, so is that the human woman? It's like a woman with long blonde hair, but we only see her from the back.
Yeah, I only saw the blonde hair.
And I'm like, I wonder if it's someone we know. And then I was like, looks like Hilling from the back. So I was like,
don't play with me. That's what she does. She just goes around giving sons to kings. What's wrong with you?
I mean, she's got a niche.
Don't you put that on my queen, good Queen Hilling.
It was so messed up, like, because they were talking about, like, he got obsessed with immortality, and then, like, and he tested on his people, and then you see him, like, with a bunch of dead bodies.
Yeah.
Just, like, just picking through them. Like, I guess this one failed again. It was so weird.
It was like, what's his name in The Watchmen? Ozymandias.
Yeah,
with the clones and stuff. All right,
it made me think of like Westworld, where they're just testing on robots and stuff.
So he has 3 sons with a human wife. We have Desha, who is purely superhuman. Mm-hmm. Despa, who is all human with a hint of superpowers, and Oaken, who had no godly nature at all. He was despair. He was just...
Until he hit age 25.
Yes. Yeah, right.
He could rent a car, and he was immortal.
Immortal. So, talk about a glow up. Boji and Kage come across Appease. Now, like you mentioned, John, it's been a minute since we watched and recorded for this. So, I feel like every new scene we went to, I was like, I forgot about that. Or I'd be like, what happened to him again?
Who is that?
When they cut to Daida, wherever the fuck he is, I was like, oh shit, I forgot about him.
Just in the void.
Yeah, completely forgot he was there. So yeah, Boji and Kage find Appease, and he says that he can't go against Miranjo. Even he apologizes and everything, he's crying. But he can't go against her. And he says later, I'll wait because I know I have it in my notes. But again, not saying exactly what she did for him, although we saw, but we never saw, like, remember, like, she came to him and then wasn't he fighting like a
beast?
Some sort of
one of the
chimera or griffin something.
I think it was one of the dog things, right?
Was it?
Oh, no, it was a griffin.
Yeah, I think it was a griffin. And, but so we don't know yet what she did for him. But he notes that Boji is stronger and that he's changed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he like sees like a ghost version of Boji like as a giant.
He saw his glow, like remember in The Last Dragon. Boji had the glow.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but yeah, it was kind of like what Kage looked like at the end.
Yeah.
Oh my god. If this ends with them both being 2 huge giant besties, I'm going to love it.
Yeah.
Their true forms. So it's determined that the queen is going to hide in this guardhouse. So she has, I forgot her name, the female guard, and oh my god, what's his name? Oh god. What's the guy's name that can't die? Her bodyguard.
I don't know. It's been a while.
I gotta scroll up to one of the...
I don't remember his name either. It's on the tip of my tongue. I think it is a D.
There's so many D names in here. I'm scrolling through my notes.
Is it Dorsha?
Dorsha.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're together, and it's determined that they're going to keep her in this abandoned like guardhouse or something like that. But
sorry, just I think she's Anne is her name.
All right.
I knew it was such a simple name, like compared to all these other characters.
All the Anns listening are like, "What the fuck is that supposed to mean?"
No, I mean just compared to the wild names everyone else has.
Simple, plain ass name like
Boring.
Anne. So, but then this mouse runs out of the guardhouse and
with red eyes.
With what?
Red eyes.
Okay, that's what was special about it. Because I don't know if I, wrote notes or something, but, I was like, okay, I guess she's going to freak because there's mice in this house. Like, I didn't realize that they followed it until the next scene begins with them following it to a yeah. With red eyes. Lovely.
And then the red eyes go away when they arrive to appease.
Yes.
And so it's like, okay, who's controlling that mouse? Someone was controlling that rat or mouse.
The king, maybe? Because I don't, okay. I have a theory. I'm sorry. My brain is just going much faster than my mouth. So I'll save it.
I honestly didn't think about it being controlled by anyone. I was just like, oh, that's a mouse that's helping them. I mean, they got snakes.
As they do.
I mean, snakes are doing shit.
That's
How do
true.
I know
That's
that mice
true.
aren't
That's
doing
true.
things.
We don't know what animals are beholden to who in this realm. Okay. So Domas and Hokuro burn the portal, and that's where we see the flag with the Shadow Clan. And we get like a little bit of their history, like a little bit more. This is where he mentions that they were persecuted. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's a lot of that going on. Then we meet up with Zoku, who has Miranjo. Totally forgot about this. Mm-hmm. When this began, I was like, oh, that's right. But so she's like, I forget what he says, like something about like what to do with her or whatever. And she was like, as long as you don't hurt me or something like that. And all of a sudden you just hear the screams and the huffing of Oaken as he comes running. That was fucking terrifying.
It was also kind of funny.
No. I was scared.
I thought it was funny because, like, not this scene when he comes up and like behind them and Zoku or whatever is like, oh shit, like not that part. That was a little scary. But like the part where you just see him running, where you see Oaken just kind of running and not paying attention to anyone else. It was just kind of like, it was like he wasn't paying attention to anything that was happening other than having to get to Miranjo.
That poor guy.
Because like he's like under her spell or whatever.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, we'll talk about it when we get there because we still haven't gotten to that. All right. So, Kage. So Kage and Boji arrive, and they know what.
So I just remembered a moment where he's like, "Whoa, is that a talking mirror?"
So,
they know nothing.
At first, he's like, he sees them like squaring off, and he was like, "Hold up, let them niggas fight." Like, he's like, "Let's just watch." I love Kage for that. And what's his name? Oh yeah, first they watch, and then he gets closer, and Boji goes in to fight Oaken, right? To protect
the guy,
the Zuko guy, right? Zoku. And what's his name? Kage is next to Miranjo, and I was getting so annoyed because he was telling too much business.
Yeah, like you don't even know this mirror.
Yes, I was like, I was so annoyed, and I was like, because nobody's really talking to each other, but like I get it because like shit's been going down, so it really hasn't been a lot of time. But it was just so frustrating because I was like, don't tell her things. He was like, that's my boy Boji. Don't worry, he can handle himself.
Yeah, his social security number is
right.
It was so funny when Zoku is running from Oaken and gets up on the wall.
Yes.
And then Zoku's like, yeah, I'm away from this guy. And then Boji shows up, and then Zoku's like, oh, I can take this kid.
Yes.
And then he looks at Boji and he's like, gads! This one's in trouble too.
Yes. You were talking about when Zoku was facing off, when he decided to surrender to Boji, and he was like, because the other guy doesn't look like he has any mercy. But then he blows this purple shit
Poison
in his
his
face, right? And like Boji's like, what the fuck? He's just like brushing it off.
It was so
and I love that
interesting.
callback because of the whole
Yeah.
his immunity.
Yeah, like it was so interesting. Like Miranjo kept like not only was Kage talking to Miranjo, but Miranjo was talking to Kage.
Yeah,
and she's even
yeah.
like, "Why the fuck am I talking to this
Yes,
guy?"
yeah.
And it's just like, it's like Kage brings it out of you.
But like it makes sense when you find out like her origins. Like she was just genuinely, naturally kind and nice, you know. And she came from a people who were genuinely nice and kind. Yeah. So Kage is kikiing with Miranjo, telling all the business. Boji is fighting Oken. The mouse leads Healing to appease, and then, like you said, at the end of it, like she mentioned something about Oken's like defenses or something, and like, you know, it's best that he just runs away. And then she's like, "Why am I giving him advice?"
I like that, like, because when appease was saving Miranjo from Zoku and them, like he had her, and then the next thing we know, Zoku has her and Appease is on the ground. And like they didn't show us how that happened. And I like that in the course of this episode we realized, because Zoku poisoned Appease.
That's right. Yes.
So then when
Healing
Healing shows up, they're like, poison. Like, so they realize immediately that Appease has been poisoned.
Right. Healing is such a, like, I love her. But we'll get there. Unless she's just out there belonging to the streets, just being all the king's baby mama.
I mean, you know, she can do what she wants.
And at the end of this episode, Miranjo reveals herself to our boy Kage. Okay, so episode 18, Battle of the Gods.
Well, there were a couple things in there that just to touch on really quickly. When Oken gets away from Despa and the captain, and he it looked like he was bloodbending, and like we find out later that's not what he was doing, but like that's what it looked like, and I was like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Yeah, the little the black stuff.
Yeah, like so he can he throws little like pebbles, and that's how like later when he's trying to do that to Boji dodges them.
That looks so ridiculous. I kept telling Kaylee, he was just like, ugh, ugh, ugh.
It was like when you're a kid and you're trying to use the force.
Yes.
And you're just like, not working.
Yes.
And the other thing was we learn what Miranjo wants, at least according to someone else. I forget who says it. But the Miranjo just wants to travel with King Boss like they used to. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's a weird thing to just want. Like, to do all of this just for that? That's weird. Kill all these people and ruin kingdoms. And it's like,
because I was definitely thinking something else.
Yeah, and
do you remember what I said later?
You can be both.
I'm gonna save it till we get to that scene because I actually have it in my notes.
Okay, let's get to it then.
Okay, so Bebin is questioning King Boss. This is another scene began. I was like, oh shit, I forgot about him. And he says, Miranjo is someone that he holds dear. So that is like the first thing, right? Like that's like our kind of cold open thing. That's the first thing he says about her. And we're like, go ahead.
There isn't a single soul I hold more dear.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, really? You have kids?
Yeah. Well, does he?
Well, I mean, he has at least one. And the other one, he is one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And Appease is talking to Healing and them, and he says that he wanted to relieve Miranjo's suffering the way she did for him. So he is indebted to helping her. Mm-hmm. So I was like, how does she... Because I still don't unless I'm stupid. Like, we don't know exactly what she did for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Antidote, and then power. What is it, He-Man?
Yes. Healing, he heals him, right? And she says, like, you know, you need to save her because that's what he wants to do. So it makes me like, he doesn't want to kill her. Mm-hmm. They want to stop her, but he wants to like save her. I feel like it's it's going to be like that Jon Snow Daenerys shit, John. Like, save her from herself. Like, she thinks revenge is what she wants. No,
I mean,
revenge
we
is
saw
always
that
the
ended.
answer.
What?
Revenge is always the answer.
It really is, but
I hate stories that are like, I want revenge, and it's like, but do you really?
Yes, I do.
And then Domas and Horoku.
Oh my god.
Hokuro.
Yes.
No, wait, what?
Hokuro.
Oh, see, I got the freaking R and the K.
Hokuro. It's Hokuro.
Yeah, you've had the R and the K mixed up the whole time.
Oh my god, I thought I was mixing up the O and the U.
Huroko.
Okay. Hokuro. Okay. They come home and apologize. And I had completely, like, my brain fizzled because I'd forgotten that the last time Healing saw Boji, she was sending him to go to the under the castle, the basement, knowing that he may run into those two. And that was a thing, right? It's like, do you think you can stand seeing them again? I'd forgotten that was the last time she'd seen him. So in this scene, when they're telling what happened, and Hokuro was like, oh my god, he was amazing. And then Healing gets in his face and she's like, was he really? Did you see where he went next? I thought she was being sarcastic. Like, motherfucker, where's my son? Like, fuck all this shit. But that Kaylee reminded me, like, no, she didn't know what happened after that. Mm-hmm. Like, she didn't know.
So she was
how he did.
Just proud of her son.
Yeah. But yeah, they hype Boji up and then they run off to go look for him, right?
Well, she stays behind.
Yes.
Yeah, they go off to like protect. Yeah.
And then this is where Bo's back to the dungeon, and Bo's is telling Bebin that Miranjo is like a child, like his mom, and like a mentor. And I was like, yeah, but I feel like she wants to fuck you.
Yeah, it's like Freudian, right? It's a Freudian thing, right?
I was like, this is so bizarre. So then
he... like, the dancing scene. Like,
yeah.
I don't forget that.
It's so weird, right? Like, I don't...
Yeah. I'll be very... I don't know if impressed is the word, but I'll be kind of shocked if it's just genuinely platonic between them and, like, on both ends. Like, and that's, like, just the way, like, they're just really close friends.
Do you remember... Do you remember the arc in My Hero with the eccentric? He was like a gentleman thief. The
gentleman thief. And
is that his name, Gentleman Thief? I had it right? Holy shit. And then, like, his little apprentice, she was like a young...
She wasn't young,
but she was...
But she looked young.
She looked young, and she was, I would say, coded young.
Because there's like a
and
scene,
it felt fucking creepy.
Yeah, there's a scene of her in high school, but she's like still looks like a child compared to everyone else.
Yes, and it was but I remember it felt kind of ambiguous for most of it. Like, I couldn't tell, like,
if it was
what the hell was going on. And I think it was towards the end, it was genuinely like, she was like, I love you, and I was like, okay, that's where they decided to go. It felt creepy. So I'm just curious to see where this goes. That's the only reason I bring that up. Okay, so then we get a flashback and we learn about the Homa people, right? They defied the gods after getting magic, right? They had access to magic, were really good at it, and then they were like, fuck you, gods. And even though they, like, he's telling the story of, like, who they were, history remembers them for their atrocities, right? Yeah. Which is, yes. So, Bose, that's his name, right? met Miranjo's wizard dad. And the dad, because of toxic masculinity, I guess. I don't know. Duel. He's like, I'm going to challenge you to a duel to the death. And I'm like, why? Okay. And he ends up killing the father. But Miranjo's mother heals him, Boss, because that's just her way, right? And we learned that that's just her nature.
Her powers are similar to Hilling's.
Yes.
So, do you think Hilling is, like, from the same family, bloodline? Distant relatives? I don't know.
I feel like it feels like they have to be connected somehow, because it's like a very distinct...
They're known for their kindness, and she's really kind, I think. So.
Hilling is Targaryen. And she is making her way through every kingdom to tear them all down.
Do you know who Oaken is?
I don't know what the question is.
In Game of Thrones.
Who, like the parallel?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like what's his name?
So curious.
The guy who died a bunch, right? Is that who you're thinking of? The guy who died and came back or whatever? Is that who you're thinking of?
Wait, I was thinking of the Mountain.
Okay, the Mountain, that fits.
Yeah, right? Like he's like huge and like unstoppable and...
Right. What was the guy who was in like...
Beric Dondarrion?
Yeah. He like was,
I love him.
Brought back a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Maybe he's Dorsha.
Yes. Oh my God, he's so Dorsha. Okay. So, Boss decided to stay and fight alongside the Homa people as they fought against the gods, and they went to make an alliance with the Yakuza. But it doesn't work out because those people by nature are like the exact opposite. They're suspicious, they're liars. More than that though, they're manipulators, and they look down on people who aren't, on people who are nice, because they see it as a weakness to be despised. And then these motherfuckers teach the Yakuza magic. I was like, no, don't do that. And then as they're teaching them, they're having like a workshop of spells, and they kind of like pan across the people. There was one motherfucker, I was like, he looks like he can't wait to betray you with this magic. Like, like they're all frowning and I'm like, why would you teach these people magic?
All of these Yakuza, they look like a kid who's playing with a lighter. Like out in the field.
Yes! I'm like...
they're going to burn this place down. You gotta watch out.
And so, of course, that's exactly what happens. They end up betraying the Homa people. This is some creepy shit. This is like that movie Strangers. Did you ever see that? You don't like scary movies, right?
I don't find
You talking to me?
I was talking to Kaylee, but both of you. I was asking if both of you've seen Strangers.
I haven't.
Okay.
No. I know it, but I haven't seen it.
So I went to see this when we were pregnant. I was pregnant. It was just me. Nobody else was pregnant with Jack. It was just me. But it was one of those, like, I think it was like during the summer. Yeah, because I was almost due. So it's probably like July 2008. You were in school. So maybe it was earlier than that. Because school's not in July.
Yeah, there's no school in July.
It was later than that.
Maybe you were somewhere else. Maybe you were at some sort of like summer thing. I don't know. But so it was like in the middle of the day, and Donnie and I were like, oh, let's go to the movies, and then we'll pick Kaylee up from school. So we went to see it, and it was just us and like a guy in the back, and that's it, because it was the middle of the day. And the movie is about like probably every person's worst fear, like a home invasion of this type, but it's Liv Tyler and I think her boyfriend, I forget who plays him in the movie. Anyway, they're home in their like isolated house, and like these people just show up in the middle of the night wearing masks, like weird creepy masks, and they're just like looking in their windows, knocking on the door. They eventually like get their way inside. It's just a terrible situation. It's scary as shit. This is what they did to Miranjo's mom. It was like, doctor, are you home? And I was like, no, don't answer that door.
God, it was so, like, they just come in and just, like, no, like, preamble. They just stab her.
Just stab her. and then they're like, tell us where you keep your money. And I was like, maybe you should have asked her before you got on the
floor. For a people who, like, this is your thing, you kind of got this backwards.
Right? She was, like, gurgling and shit. I was like, how's she going to answer if she wanted to?
But she still yelled out for Miranjo.
Yeah. Who was just, I don't know how she didn't hear all that shit. She was, like, surprised the moment they opened the door. So then we cut back to Boji versus Oken, which is interrupted by Despa.
Yes.
And the guard.
Yes.
With their lightning.
Mm-hmm.
I completely forgot they could do this. So when the lightning happened and they, like, flew apart, I was like, what the fuck? Who is this?
Yeah, the lightning was Desha.
Desha, right.
But,
yes. And he was like, you did well, Boji. You can rest now or whatever. And Boji just starts weeping.
It also turns out he cannot rest yet.
It's like, I almost died. But Boji was doing good. He was doing his little,
dodging.
Mm-hmm. But no, the pokes.
Yeah.
And those things, but it just,
Yeah, it was so interesting when he would hit Oken, and then Kage was like, "Whoa, he didn't go down with that," and like looking at Miranjo, like Miranjo's supposed to know,
right? Yes.
Like Miranjo doesn't know anything about what Boji can do,
and that's why I was getting a little nervous because I was like, "Stop fucking telling her what he can do." So then they have to take on Oken. Oken ends up stabbing the guard, right? And before he stabs the guard, he channels the next thing of lightning that Dessa sends, right? Like he channels it through one arm and out the other foot so that it doesn't hit any vital organs.
Heart.
And I was like, "That's ridiculous!" Like,
no. I think that you used the wrong word. It was a badass. Is what that was.
It was both. It was both.
Like,
ridiculously badass.
I was like, "How are we just like?"
It was just like, okay, I guess it's cool.
I guess that's the thing he can do.
Because he like stuck his sword up, and at the end, it was like He-Man.
Yeah, that's right. Power of Grayskull. So this is when I wrote he kills the guard because I thought he was dead. When he got started, I was like, oh, he killed him. And fights Despa. And then I just have wow. Because they do this thing where I don't know where they were where they were. But Despa is like holding on to Oken. And he is like, won't let him go. He's like, so when the next thing comes, we'll just go together, right? And I'll free you from this, right? Because when I didn't mention this, but when they did reveal that when they after they took over, killed their father and took over, on his 25th birthday, he discovered that he was immortal, and he Oken, right? And he kind of, I'm assuming, like, he gave into it, like he went mad from it, because there's no, either that or it looked like Desha had used him, like, turned him into, like, a weapon. That's what I thought, because he looked happy when it was revealed.
No, he didn't. He looked upset. Desha?
Really?
Yeah, he looked concerned.
Oh, you mean like? I don't wait.
I thought when he
Oken was upset, right? That's what you're saying?
No.
Because Oken was upset.
Oken was upset, but when he revealed that he was immortal, I thought Despa kind of smiled.
Despa or Desha? The king.
The mouth one.
The mouth
king one.
He looked. I remember thinking, wow, he looks upset.
Okay. I read that differently. And then the next thing they show,
he's
though...
there and he's like sweating. He just looks concerned.
Then the next thing they show, it was like he... Okay, so then who are the people that he killed? They show him, like, standing Oaken. Like, I thought he was, like, killing on behalf of his brother. But then after, Death's comes upon him over all those people that he killed.
I just thought at that point he was
locks him up.
He had gone mad.
Okay.
And he was just killing people.
So he went mad from...
The immortality.
The immortality. Okay.
And I'm just wondering how much time has passed between him discovering he's immortal and between him going mad. I feel like it had to have been
it was like 3 weeks.
Right?
Yeah, because it didn't feel like a lot of time had passed, but I guess it did.
Yeah, and then like...
Because you would think that would happen like after all your family and stuff dies. That's when you would go crazy from immortality, right?
Like, and then Dessa puts him in the prison cell, and then like he's eating a rat.
Right? I was like, why? What part of immortality makes you do that?
And then it was like Miranjo shows up and he's like just eating a rat.
Yeah.
Like, let me finish this rat right quick.
So
I'll be right.
But when he's holding on to him, they're talking to each other, like kind of like where Daida is, but it's nicer, it's brighter. And he's like, you don't have to save me. There are other people who need your saving first. So I was like, oh my God, this is so sweet. And then he stabbed him in the chest.
Yeah, like before he could finish a sentence. I remember thinking, wow.
I was like, wow, this is terrible.
That was I really loved that a lot. Like, I love that scene because at first it was like someone was talking to him, and obviously we've only seen it be Dessa and Despa talking to each other. So I think, and I think that Despa even thought it was Dessa at first. And then he's like, brother, no, wait, is that Oaken talking to me right now?
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
And then that's when they went into that, like, dream world or whatever. And like, how did y'all read that? Because to me, it felt like, I walked away from that thinking that Oaken was serious. Like, that was actually Oaken in that dream sequence. But then, like, the body of Oaken turned on him and stabbed Despa. So, like, Oaken was actually talking to Despa in that moment.
That's how I took it. Is that how you took it?
No. I took that as Despa's memory of Oaken when he was still sane. It's like maybe what he would have said, if he was still himself, but...
Right.
But
could be.
I put on the scene of...
I basically raised Wednesday Addams. Go ahead.
I put on the scene again of when they discovered he was immortal. And you can see it's a body of Dessa's men.
Dessa's men, right. See, I took it differently. That's what I said. Who are the people that he killed? Because when they show him sitting on the throne, I thought he was like he was just going to use... Because when they killed the father, he became king, right?
I think because he's the oldest. I don't know if they mentioned that, but I have the impression that he's the oldest.
And is that like the only thing that can stop him?
What, lightning?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming anything that can incapacitate him.
But then what kept him in this prison?
Wait,
probably just locked him in there.
When you said the oldest, what was that? I missed what y'all were talking about. The oldest brother?
Yes.
They said that Desha is the oldest.
Yeah. I'm saying, I think that's...
Yeah, that's what... Yeah, because I was questioning why he became king when they all overthrew the dad, and she was saying it's because he's the oldest. Got it.
And yeah, I think it is, like they mentioned earlier when they how they got him tied up.
He don't got no mustache.
Just proving you wrong on everything.
Wait, what?
I said he don't got no mustache.
Oh. Well, excuse me. Anyway, go ahead.
No, that was worth it. That was
No, wait a second. This isn't even the scene I'm talking about, though.
But that's what he looked like in the scene.
No, it's not. Go to the scene I'm talking about.
Was that in the last episode?
I don't know.
16?
Go ahead. Hurry up. I want to eat my food. Not you. I wasn't snapping at you. I was snapping at her. Go ahead.
No, when they do incapacitate him in like episode 15 or whatever, the last one that we watched before,
right.
Like how he got tied up. Yeah, it was like the lightning was like that was how they stopped him, right? Like
so my question is, things like that, he can be incapacitated, he can be hurt, but like then I guess is he just not strong enough to like he broke out of those ropes because why? Miranjo?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the reason he was able to get out of those ropes is because he broke his bones, right? Like I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know how you can break your bones and get out of a prison cell.
Okay, gotcha. So that's what I'm trying to establish like how powerful he is. So he's clearly not strong enough to break out of that prison. He still is like within the limits of.
Yeah, I feel like he's probably human. He's just immortal human. Mm. And so, like, I think he dies when he gets struck by lightning, like, but he just comes back.
Right. That makes sense.
Like, it just stops his heart for however long, and then it starts beating again.
Yeah. Okay.
He's such a cool character.
He really is. He is. I'm hoping they free him. I'm hoping, like, everybody gets a somewhat happy ending.
No mustache.
Oh, you're so petty.
Because I remember this is the scene where I was like, there's a third brother and he's really good looking. Like, they kept saying Despa's the best looking brother. I'm like, what about Alkin? He was good looking. He was the best looking brother.
Right, that's right.
It's so funny that, like, they intentionally made their names so close, Dessa and Despa, and then Oaken's so far away so that you would never guess that they were brothers.
That's so true.
And it's like, why would they have a third brother that's completely named differently other than to trick us?
Fucking Despa's mustache bothers me. Mm-hmm. I don't like thin mustaches. Mm-hmm. Sorry to anybody who's listening with a thin mustache. It's like, just commit to it or not at all. So he stabs his brother and then he's going to kill Boji, but in comes Kage, and I am like stressing the fuck out because he just killed his brother.
The voice work was really well done with Kage. He was screaming.
Yes. And then Kage just turns into this giant shadow thing that devours.
And did you notice that he's still crying even in this giant shadow form?
No, I
still have tears
coming. I'm definitely gonna watch this episode again before we watch the next one next time.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
One thing that I really liked I don't remember which episode it was. I think it was probably 18. Was like the parallels between Despa and Boji, in that Despa is like weak and can't fight, and he's like the only one of his brothers who like can't fight. Like he
just has like a little bit of.
Yeah, he says like I know how to fight, but my body doesn't do it. And so then that's how it ends up that he knows how to train people really well, but he can't fight. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, there's a bit of a mess in my room all of a sudden. So whatever he did at the end of the episode, Kage, like, he didn't kill him.
We don't know that. He's immortal, so we don't know if he can. Right.
You can kill him, he'll just come back. So I'm just curious, like, what this power... It feels like it's something that will probably, like, take you somewhere. Mm.
Yeah, I think it's probably... Like, if I had to guess, it's probably similar to, like, how Daida is kind of trapped.
That's what I was thinking.
Where, like, it's the same way that, like, Kage, like, carries all of his stuff, like, in his body. Mm-hmm. And, like, he's got, like, a hypercube body. And it feels like that's kind of where Oaken is going to go.
Oaken is in Kage's body.
Snacks and weapons.
Hmm.
It'd be interesting if, like, if Oaken starts, like, freaking out in there, trying to break out, and then, like, on the outside, it's like Kage has heartburn.
Which episodes were we going to watch next? I mean, how many?
I don't know. How many were we supposed to watch if we had watched 4?
There would be 4 left if we had watched 4. Now there are 5 left. So I would say it probably makes sense to watch 3 and then 2.
All right. So next time we were supposed to watch 20 and 21.
So next time we're watching 3.
Yeah. 19, 20, and 21.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to add?
We were looking at when we were doing the anime voting, the Anime Awards voting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the categories was best voice for English dub, and Ranking of Kings was listed, but it was someone with a Korean name. Do you remember? Sangwoo something. So I'm wondering who that is in this show. Is it Boji? Who's the voice of Boji?
It's a woman.
Oh,
but I don't remember her name.
Hold on. It's hold on. Hold on. 1 second here. One moment. Let me see.
They had that thing where they...
Was it Sungwon Cho?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Kage.
Oh,
that's right. You told us this. That's right.
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did we know that? Yeah, we did. We knew that. Daida's English voice actor is Bryce Papenbrook, who is Aaron, right?
Daida? No,
Yes.
that's Hokuro. Hokuro's
Never mind.
Daida's Deku. Remember? I was telling you about how he's also the voice of the main character in Classroom.
I think the Japanese Aaron voice actor, I think, is the Japanese Daida.
Oh, Yuki Kaji?
Yes.
Yeah, the guy you
Look at me, I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning the names.
That makes sense. He's such a, I don't know, he's a big voice actor in Japan. He's one of the big names.
And how did you knew him again, John? Sungwon Cho.
Oh, Sungwon Cho, he when he's a voice actor, obviously, like he's done a lot of voice acting, but he was also like, I think he like came on the scene or whatever as a YouTuber.
Oh.
That's right. That's what you meant.
His name is ProZD. Is the channel, his name on YouTube.
I feel like that's happened a few times.
YouTubers become voice actors.
Yeah,
that's because that's how they get their stuff out there. There's a YouTuber and streamer I told you about. Her name is Lily Pichu. She's now like...
Well, that's right.
She's like in a lot of anime. She's one of the characters... She's voiced as a Genshin character now. And like one of the other categories, she was also in the voice... English dub voice category. It's a girl named Amanda Lee. Her
That's
YouTube
right,
channel
I saw that
is
name.
Amalie. Emily. She's a singer on YouTube, and I used to like listen to her covers years and years and years ago, and I still listen to her now. Oh, is that him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I've seen like pictures of him on Twitter and stuff. Yeah. I didn't know that was him. Yeah, he was big in the anime community. I don't know what he does, so.
Okay, so we'll be back next week. 3 episodes, penultimate podcast of the season. I don't even feel comfortable making any kind of predictions this early because anything could happen in 3 episodes, as we see.
Who knows what could happen?
So we'll be back next week with that. This is free. So what else do we have going up on the free channel for people? Flower of Evil is our K-drama. Alice in Borderland. We released a few of the premium shows that we're covering, just the first episodes, like The Last of Us and Mayfair Witches. So if you're interested in hearing us talk about those shows, including live video reactions of The Last of Us for one of our Patreon tiers, you can head over to patreon.com/podcastfandom and become a premium subscriber. Anything you want to add, John?
No.
Okay.
Go to Patreon. Do the thing.
Do the thing. We'll be back next week.
You can give me money if you want. Go ahead and give me some money.
Drop your cash up, John. All right, we'll talk to you next time.